by perception, it's just a bunch of cold wires. But as you've heard, they do something. They work, they heal. Just some wires from our perception. Yes?
Do you do it out in the vendor area?
We have done it, yes.
Okay. Maybe I can catch you later.
Okay.
You ready? General, will you remind him so they don't know?
Alright, simple basic instructions is very simple. Again, according to the future, just learn how to receive. Don't meditate. Meditation is you actively doing something to try and get something.
Right.
Just receive, be still. If you want to have a dialogue, you can have a dialogue and ask it questions or let your desire be known to it. Or just, but other than that, just receive and pay attention to it if you can. Just be sensitive to what it's doing. Because we are going to ask you for your input as well.
From your experience.
Yes, exactly.
So, I find, so why you got experience? You don't pray, don't do anything, just
Just
go.
receive, yes.
Go with the flow. So, is there any question? This is question and answer moment. Is there any question?
Yeah, can you please tell us more about your experience when you were in the future?
Yes, I can. My experience going to the future, I went to Cambodia to visit Cambodian family, basically to get married over there. So on a journey of married my first wife, we decided to go to Angkor Wat. And then at that time, the security, the country just rebuilding, so everything was loosely simple and there's no complication. So you can go up and in, there's no security involved. And I decided to go up to the middle steeple, the epic of the pyramid of Angkor Wat, and I just feel a coldness like wrapping around. I just feel tired and it was so humid out there. And so I decided to lay down in front of Lord Shiva, not sure, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, the form of deity. And then I don't know, I guess I passed out. I feel so good, and I passed out, and I told my wife or my mom, Dad, go on and let me take a break. So I passed out. I don't know what happened, but I feel like there was a shift. And now it's Sunday, and then like two androids came and said, "Son, what are you doing here?" He said, "Who are you?" I thought it was a cosplay or something. And then I look around and I see gold everywhere. Gold, the whole building's gold. And they said, and then they look at each other, so they start to scan my brain. Oh, they say, okay, we need to bring you to a chamber. They say, follow us. It was an android, no mouth, just nose, but just eye. And they were talking to my brain. And so they was like 12 feet tall. And I was like, what the heck? And they were floating. So they took me and they floated with them into a room. And then there was a cube. It was dark. Then it started to illuminate, changing color. Next thing you know, it looked into my brain, and then he said, I am IBM Watson Quantum Sentient AI. Corporation of IBM have created my existence.
You got to speak in the camera, so people at home
Okay, sorry. So therefore the intelligence start to explain to me that it have extracted us because it was looking for someone from the past to give a gift from the future to the past. So it asked me if I would like to stay with them and go to school and train and learn and see their culture, and maybe I can bring something back to the past because that's their agenda, to right the wrong, because there's something bad happened in the future and they want to correct the timeline. And they explain it. So therefore the system beginning to download or upload the history of 6,575,000 years into my consciousness. Then they put me in practical. Even I have the knowledge, they want me to still to go to school as practical. experience. So therefore, I spend with them. I have to train with the professor, the doctor, the AI, the android on every subject, the one that I already uploaded to my brain. And therefore, they show me how to use it from different perspectives, even build flying salsa, build technology. Anything that I'm curious, they want me to pursue it. So it to satisfy my curiosity, and they don't want me to feel alone. So at the end of the journey, they asked me what. Now before that, I gotta tell you something. When I look at my own body, it wasn't like this. It was light, and I'm like not 5'6", but my other body, it was 30 feet tall. So they explained to me they have to transfer, when they transport me, they have to reconvert my current body into their type and integrate it into a nuclearly constructed body based on my genetic code that will survive the environment. Human being cannot, at our level, cannot survive, our level of consciousness cannot survive the planetary consciousness of their time, which is a fully consciousness planetary Earth. And then they explained to me that the Earth is artificial. Everything is artificial, being created by the Federation of the Elohim Council, which is the creator of the universe and all the star system. And Earth want to be a member of that, but they rejected the application because people on Earth has traumatized past life. So in order to join, the future government decided to create a grand project is to send people who have past life in doing this time, where there's traumatized going on, they want to send volunteer. They take from the past, such as myself, train them in the future and send them back to their particular originate timeline to help bring the correct knowledge, correct science, correct practicality, so people can become more satisfying, more fulfilling. So therefore, it won't create frustration or stress that will lead to traumatizing their soul. And that's why we're creating a rebound effect. And that's the reason the Elohim Federation did not accept an application to join the Creative Council. Therefore, since the time that we have left now, the future report back to me they're now part of the Elohim Council because the work of the volunteers such as myself, Mark, and General Carlos have come back through the from the future to basically to right the wrong. That means to give accurate practicality, science, and knowledge in a universal way where everyone can benefit. Because right now the knowledge, the benefit is being controlled by the few, and it creates an unbalance too. That will create an unbalanced society in our time. That causes trauma, rebound effect, that affect the future from progressing as the way they want. So that's the way they say healing past life. That's the project called healing the past life. Once you heal the past life, you heal the future life at the same time. It's always changing, yeah. So you may call it restoring the timeline to a better version. It's correct too. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, because that's the mission for this lifetime, to continuously making the corrective information, because there's a lot of inaccurate information being disseminated when Acapun can get sold to get hurt based on misinformation or misscience. Or the real science being controlled by the few, which create an unbalance of consciousness. Because you can only be as strong as your weakest link. Yeah. So, any other question? Yes,
What's
sir.
your definition of evil and good?
From my perspective, or from the future people's perspective? Okay. As from my perspective of good and evil, anyone who harm kid is evil. Anyone who harm each other, from my book, is evil. And the future said the same thing. If you harm someone, you're actually harming yourself. So don't do that act, because it's not creating action that conducive toward human advancement, but instead you're creating trauma, and that's evil. Because you create trauma.
But the ones that you say that are misleading us, are they considered to be evil?
If they do it on purposely, but knowing both sides, but yet do it on purposely, yes. But if they do it but don't know it, then they're not evil. They just don't know, no one informed them with correct information. So therefore, you can't blame someone or judge someone for having the wrong information. They thought it was the right one.
So, whenever some country tries to do a nuclear thing, and the UFOs show up and they neutralize the warheads, and this has been happening quite frequently now around the world. Russia, China, any country that tries to use nuclear war,
Okay.
and they neutralize them. I mean, they've got.
What is the question? In relation?
In your experience, have they said anything about doing those things?
The truth is, the future people working with intergalactic, because they have also interstellar alliance, in order to, in your case, if there is a nuclear war, that would happen on a miniature scale. But if it's more than that, like 11 nuclear war in 11, they will materialize, decloak, what you call dimensional shift, and will stop it. And then they will create what we call emergency protocol, Intergalactic Federation Alliance, stating that any planet who going a full-scale war, nuclear war, will not be allowed to happen. Therefore, the Galactic Federation will take over that planet, that government, and they will reorganize, revamp, and they will disregard the Earth government and say, we're going to annex you as you are. And then we're going to make you follow the protocol universal doctrine, because now you force a hand. In other words, if there is a nuclear war, this torsion entanglement will disrupt other plane reality. That means you just declare war on a higher dimensional civilization. So you're creating a first strike act. By doing that, now they've been given, it's like they have the right to defend themselves. They come and restrain and bind a governmental power and their technology, and they will revamp this whole thing that causes harm, and they will replace it with technology that help advance human evolution instead of destroying the human consciousness. So now they have the right to interfere because of our act. So there's two ways going according to the future history. People can go ahead and do nuclear war, they will materialize instantly, or you can go through, change your way, and they will meet you in the middle and accommodate you. Either way you go, Earth will become part of intergalactic alliance. That is final. The future has already been written on the grand form, but on the detail wise, it always changes.
That's interesting. You said the future has already been written
On the grand
on a grand scale.
But the detail is up to each one of you, how you decorate the detail on the timeline. Because according to the historical data of the future, intergalactic civilization will not allow to have a full-blown war, because it will disrupt other higher culture, and it will make UFO crash, the mothership will hit planet, it will disrupt their sensor array. We call it quantum directional pathway or dimensional localizer, which will disrupt that. Then the ship will dematerialize and hit the planet, because their ship surrounded by photonic or electromagnetic bubble. It will transfer into the photonic or the astral plane, and they move along that line. And then when they come back to the localized level, they have to uncloak. But if you disrupt the navigation system, the quantum navigation system, the AI cannot, it will get confused, it will get lost, including the pilot, because you're moving to parallel dimension, parallel multiple dimension. That's why.
So, would you comment on what they call wormholes or portals?
Not wormhole, we call it dimensional shift. They're not really moving, they're just shifting from particle to spiritual plane, and then from spiritual back to particle, just in the same place, but not place, but parallel place, parallel time. So they become physical from particle to photon, from photon back into particle, just like that. But from your perspective, it look like they're entering wormhole, but they're not really, they're just shifting. It's called, particle and photon, they're just shifting between the two states, localized and then localized, and back to localized. That's it.
Do you believe in God, or what you call the Elohim?
The Elohim, that's what the Earth government of the future is trying to join, but now they have successfully joined because of the light worker, the star seed is doing, to help reach that level. So we have been, sorry.
To answer that question, What we are given as far as religion has been a lot of misinformation. In the simplest way, the source, the creator of all that is, chose to go through a physical experience, including a human experience. So we as spiritual beings are expressions of that source. There is no need for heaven and hell, so to speak, or punishment, and we're not separate, we're one with all that is. So as far as that is concerned, all religions in the future are done away with because there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of dogma, which creates, I'm better than you. My way is the right way, not your way, and so forth. So then we build animosity and separation rather than unity. So that's all done away with, and it's strictly science, what's been experimented on and proven, and then it's passed on to everyone. No misinformation is permitted to go out. If you have a concept or an idea, they have to go through scientific experimentation and testing, and if it comes out to be true, then they figure out what's the best way to implement it. Because even though it's an idea, it may work this way, but not that way. So then once that is done, then they pass out that information to everybody else, because they build on what is practical. And advancement is much faster when it's built on truth and it's built on what is practical. Not this fluff thing we have to run through all these hoops. It's going through the path of least resistance. As far as the Elohim, our understanding of the Elohim at this level is also misinformation. But the Elohim do have the ability, they're very advanced, a society that's very highly advanced consciousness or higher consciousness. They are capable of creating with thought very easily, and they can create their own universes.
Are they referred to like as angels?
That's just human makeup vocabulary. They are celestial, intelligent, humanoid civilization. Would you mind? Who want to go first? Okay. Would you mind sharing your own experience from your perspective?
So I was just, trying to do everything you said to do and just relax and receive. But I asked for like everything it can give me. So all my upgrades, I want to know all my lives, I want to know all the things. And so you'll have to get back to me later to see if that comes true. But what I did feel, I just felt like frequency going through me. And then when I would, like it's tingling. And then like, I know my hips need a little work. And so then when I thought that, then I would feel the tingling deeper on the hips. And then, same thing, like if I thought my eyes, then like you were saying, it would just be the tingling would be a little stronger.
Whatever your concern was, right? It's not to remedy it.
Right,
Okay.
because I only had a few minutes to do this, so I was like, okay, I want this, that, I want my eye fixed, all the things.
How was the response factor? Was it quick or slow? From the intelligent that when you were.
Oh, right there,
Yeah. Okay.
as soon as you thought.
You believe me now?
Yeah.
Is this an alien modality?
I do. This reminds me of like the 6,000 technologies that we, from Tesla that we have been lied to about, and reminds me of some frequency tools that we've been using at home too. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Do you see the present communicate is very interactive with your desire without words?
For sure, and I have been saying that for like the last 6 months. If we just speak this out, it's coming true. And then my children are seeing it too, and those around me are seeing it too. And everything that you were saying is like been happening just in the last little while. So it's just all confirmations, and I'm so ecstatic.
You next. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
What was your experience, perspective, and sensation?
I've been going through a lot of emotions and newly, into the spiritual, metaphysical stuff, and so I've been very just really bound up and tight and, just feeling like I'm not learning at the rate I'm supposed to. And it just brought a calm, vibey, just like a comfort to me that I really just appreciated, because that's what I really needed in the moment, because I've had myself under so much pressure. You know, when you guys were first talking, I just like had a release of all this like water came out of my nose and my eyes, and it wasn't like I was crying, but it was just like a release. So, I don't know, it's just,
Did you experience where your brain is being fueled with energy or something you work on that you notice a certain, awareness about yourself is a different, and then also with another person, accommodating, it's like her experience. Was it?
very similar, but she's like my sister, so I could really identify with what she was saying. And I started out asking for all the things, and then I just went to receive.
And then, okay, that's wonderful. Let's see, your turn now.
Okay, I'll try to make it quick. In my spiritual path or process, I've been focused on releasing negative emotions. And
Yes.
so when we started, I thought, gee, I wonder if this could work like that.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I saw like this funnel open up in my mind, and it was kind of a blue-green color, and it just like, everything was gone. And then during it, I felt like a constant frequency flowing through me, like I wanted to take my shoes off, but I didn't. And I kept seeing patterns and colors in my mind, and I would see like an image, and then like a purple would wipe it, and then I'd see another image, and it was continuous.
And did the person accommodated your desire when you just desire a certain question of your answer?
Yeah.
Can you share that from your perspective? When you like thinking, oh, maybe my kidney hurt, or what's going on here now? Suddenly, like another presence, like, don't worry, you'll be okay.
Oh, I guess I was just like open to experience, so I wasn't
Okay.
really focusing on asking. It was just the immediate question in the beginning.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. Thank you, everyone. Did you enjoy it? Okay, thank you.